Yo, Diddy just messed with the last one, and it looks like Netflix is about to take Diddy's kids' last coins. You guys, what am I talking about? The streets are saying that Netflix is tired of Diddy. They are tired of this campaign. They are tired of the planted articles, and they are saying that if Diddy don't shut up, they gonna take whatever he has left of his fortune and baby smile in his face while they do it. Okay, let's get into this, all right? Because here's what the blogs aren't covering. But insiders are whispering like their lives depend on it. Y'all, Netflix might sue Diddy. Yes, not the other way around. Because Netflix has already sent Diddy's legal team proof that they obtained the infamous behind the scenes footage legally. They handed over chain of custody, documentation, licensing paperwork, consent records, everything. But Diddy keeps going online, releasing statements and telling the public the footage was stolen. And Netflix is allegedly fed up. But the word behind the scenes is, there's whispering, yo, Diddy's damaging our reputation. If he keeps lying about the legality of the footage, the billion-dollar lawsuit can go both ways, baby. Meaning, if Diddy keeps provoking them in public, he might be the one getting dragged into court by Netflix. And that's before we even get to the cameraman who broke his silence and accidentally ended Diddy's whole case. Tonight, let's dive into this all because it's all connected. Okay, so listen, right? Well, I know what you guys are wondering. Tisa, what are you talking about? You know, stuff. But I know you're wondering, why is Netflix getting ready to fire back? Well, reports are saying that Netflix has one thing Diddy never expected: receipts, legal receipts. Multiple outlets are saying Netflix has already proved how they got the footage. They've already proved it was acquired legally. They've already notified Diddy's attorneys, and they've already shut down his cease and desist threats. So why is Diddy still online insisting it was stolen? Because many people think he wants to win the public narrative. But by doing that, let's just roll tape. He's accusing Netflix of criminal behavior, accusing their staff of theft, and accusing their documentary team of conspiracy. And corporations don't play about their reputation. People inside the industry are now saying, yo, if Diddy keeps talking, Netflix will sue him for defamation and malicious interference. $1 billion lawsuit can go both ways, and Netflix has the money, the legal team, and now the moral high ground. But how did Netflix legally get the footage? That's where the story gets devastating for Diddy, because it wasn't the courts that destroyed his lawsuit. It was his own cameraman, and the streets are saying it wasn't the freelancer. Okay, let's talk about the cameraman, or should we say the production company that ended everything. Let's get straight to the quote that detonated Diddy's entire case. Michael Oberleis went on record with Cheyenne Roundtree and the Rolling Stones saying, for over 2 years, we've been working on a project profiling Sean Diddy Combs. The footage in question was not released by me or anyone authorized to handle Sean Combs' materials. It was by a third party who covered for me for 3 days while I was out of state. This incident had nothing to do with any fee dispute or contract issue. The actions of the parties involved reflect a lack of integrity every storyteller should uphold. Taking footage intended for a project to advance a narrative that was not our own is both unethical and unacceptable. Now, we have to decode this statement because they say a lot in it, right? And I'm sure you don't know where I'm going. Just hear me out, right? The statement does 3 catastrophic things. It confirms that this guy, Oberleis, didn't leak it. He clears himself completely. He blames the freelancer who worked only 3 days, saying that freelancer is the one who transferred and licensed the footage to Netflix. And also, he admits the nuclear truth. This was not a contractual issue. When a filmmaker says this wasn't a contract issue, you know what that means? There was no contract for him and for the freelancer. That one line is what legally ended Diddy's $1 billion bet. Bluff, whatever you want to call it. So let me tell you something. If you don't know, let me run you through really quick how no contracts ruined Diddy's life. Diddy has a decades-long pattern of refusing to sign contracts with creative workers. Why? Well, because no contract means he can renegotiate later. He can underpay. He can withhold credits. He can deny ownership. He can change the project direction anytime, and he can maintain psychological control. It's not a mistake. It's a business model. Remember what Little Rod said Diddy did to him? Had him working 2.5 years, never signed a contract, didn't pay him anything, then negotiated it down saying he'll pay him $30,000, $29,000. Then he never even got that $29,000 for 2 years' work. That is $15,000. That's $14,500 a year. Looks like he was doing that with this filmmaker too. Again, it's not a mistake. It's a business model. Ask Bad Boy Records. Ask former artists, ask producers, ask dancers, ask assistants, ask Little Rod. Diddy avoids contracts, people say, because contracts remove leverage. And Diddy only functions when he holds all the power. Or at least that's what we've been led to believe. Again, this came out in court too. Prosecutors revealed he tried to negotiate the escort fees because $600 was too much. The same behavior, the same instinct, the same refusal to honor terms and pay people fairly. So of course, Diddy didn't have a contract with the videographer. Of course, Diddy didn't have a contract with the freelancer. Of course, Diddy didn't have copyright assignments. Of course, he didn't have work for hire agreements. Of course, Diddy didn't have NDAs or releases. And guess what? If he never owned the footage, he can't sue Netflix for using this. Again, you guys, I want you to sit with this for a second. This is insane. And the fact that Diddy's, and I do honestly believe that Diddy for over 2 decades, he was so powerful that no one would dare go against him. So what did they need a contract for? It only benefited Diddy to keep things loosey-goosey. But one question I do want to ask y'all is the cameraman playing in Diddy's face too? Now that we address the street, listen, okay, let me just say it. Let's get into what they saying on the street. Because people are side-eyeing Michael Oberlies too. Because how convenient is it that the man filming Diddy for 2 years just happens to be out of state for exactly 3 days, the 3 days before the trial? Well, I'm sorry, 3 days before he got arrested? When the most damaging footage walks out the door into the hands of 50 Cent, Diddy's biggest public rival, and Netflix, who have been hunting for dirt for this documentary? Maybe you can call it a coincidence. This, to me, looks like a coordinated loophole. Either, this is my guess, A, the freelancer knew the footage wasn't protected and cashed out legally, or B, the cameraman intentionally left the loophole open. A subtle act of rebellion or self-protection, or a quiet way to distance himself from a sinking ship. Because if Oberlies was under a real contract, then any freelancer he hired would also be bound by that contract. His statement, "This was not a contract issue," is basically saying there was no contract, meaning everyone was legally free. And when people are legally free, they owe Diddy nothing. Now the real key is, what if 50 Cent or whoever got that footage gave it to the Southern District of New York, and that's really why Diddy got arrested 3 days before. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's just say it out loud. Netflix didn't steal anything. Let's be clear. If the freelancer owned the footage and Netflix legally purchased licensing rights, then Netflix now holds copyright ownership, distribution rights, fair use protection, newsworthiness protection, and journalistic protections. Netflix right now, if this is true, is untouchable. Netflix has more rights to that footage than Diddy ever did. This is why Netflix is reportedly telling Diddy's team, yo, stop accusing us publicly. We have legal proof, and if you continue, we will come after you. So I know y'all wondering, but what's going to happen if Netflix sues Diddy first? Well, I have a scenario I want y'all to consider. If Diddy keeps dragging this out publicly, Netflix could flip this entire situation. They could sue for a declaratory judgment. That's a ruling officially stating Netflix owns the footage and Diddy has zero rights. They could also sue for defamation for falsely claiming they acted illegally. They could sue for interference with business, for harming the documentary and damaging Netflix's reputation. I mean, Diddy ain't the only one that cares about the way he looks to the public. They could also sue for abuse of process and malicious prosecution if Diddy files a frivolous lawsuit. And they could sue for attorney's fees and damages, all the legal costs charged back for him. Baby, that will be in millions. And because Netflix is a mega corporation, they could absolutely say, you want $1 billion? Cool. We're countersuing for $2 billion. Baby, the industry insiders are saying Netflix will not be bullied by a man with no contracts. And you also have to think about this, right? Because I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this. Netflix might sue Diddy because they are tired of him damaging their reputation. The cameraman may have quietly sabotaged Diddy by exposing the contract loophole. The freelancer may have been strategically placed and legally positioned to leak the footage. There's a chance this wasn't a leak. This was a chain reaction created by Diddy's own arrogance about paperwork. And also, if Diddy files anything, Discovery opens every hard drive he ever filmed. Every meltdown, every witness call, every incriminating moment he captured for 2 years. The lawsuit will bury him faster than any documentary. So, no. Netflix didn't break into Diddy's vault. The cameraman didn't betray him. The freelancer didn't rob him. 50 Cent didn't manipulate the system. Diddy did. He refused to use contracts. He refused to protect his own footage. He refused to respect creatives. And now he's accusing Netflix of crimes they didn't commit after they've already handed his lawyer proof of everything. At this point, Netflix isn't afraid of Diddy. Netflix is tired of him. And if he keeps poking the bear, that $1 billion lawsuit he keeps threatening, well, the streets are saying Netflix might file it first. Baby, roll those credits. Ooh, Diddy's about to go broke. He in jail. Shut up, this is my theme song. Ooh, Diddy's in hell. Ooh, Diddy's mad. Too bad. Sit in your jail cell, so sad. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.